There are a lot of people talking these days about getting vaccinations. And there's a young man in the news who's been saying that children should have their say. What do you say, Dr. Robinson?
Well, I think that the law is very clear on the issue. And if they are under the age of 16, then it's the responsibility of the parents to be able to make the decisions for them in terms of their medical treatment and therapy.
Now, this is your opinion, so...
No, this is not an opinion. This is the law. The law is already very clear on this matter. There are laws and regulations which doctors have to follow. So, for example, if a child came to me and they were under that age, I would not be able to give them the vaccine without getting their parents' approval first. So it's not a decision that I would make. The law is very clear on these issues.
Why should children have the right to, or why do you think children should have the right to say so, since you don't really approve that?
Well, I don't think that they really should have that right, because I don't think that they're able to make what we call an informed decision. Okay, so in order for a person to be able to decide whether they should have a medical treatment or not, they should be in a position where they can make a choice based on their understanding of the facts. And I know that these days, many people say that the children at that age are probably smarter than the parents. They certainly know how to research and use their phones and to Google and find out information. But it's a matter of law. So the law says that a person is not able to make an informed decision until they get over a certain age.
But there are a lot of adults also who feel they're not going to take vaccinations. I mean, let's go through them a little bit.
Well, that's the issue, because in this case, the parent really didn't want the child to have the vaccination, and the child, making the right decision, said that they should have it. Right, so in that case, they were correct. But it wasn't their decision to make, it was the parents' decision to make.
Yeah, but what vaccinations do they have to take? I mean, what are they?
So this is the issue. Most of the time, and in fact in all cases, before children can get into school, they must have a standard set of vaccination. This is a requirement of law. And I remember when I went to school, if your vaccination card was not up to date, they would not let you come into school and start.
For what
They'd send you home. Okay. So the vaccinations that are required. Okay. We have varicella, which is known as chickenpox. This is a vaccine that all children should have. I remember when I was growing up, they didn't have the varicella or the chickenpox. And I remember having the chickenpox, my sister and I, and we were at home and we had little spots all over us. And our mother gave us ice cream. He kept us in bed. I'll never forget it. So varicella or chickenpox. Okay, the other one is measles, mumps, and rubella, which is also known as the German measles. Okay, measles, mumps, rubella. That's called the MMR. Okay,
who should have those?
Okay, all children at 6 when they are going to school, they have to have that completed set, and that is a set where they have several of the shots. So they'll have a shot when they're 2 or when they're very young, and then they'll have another shot when they're 6, like that. And so they have to show that in a card when they go to school in order to get
Why are all these vaccinations
admission.
so important?
Well, you know, it's very interesting that you say that, because we have really been spoiled, because we have not seen the dangers and the diseases because we've been so successful in our vaccination programs. So it's very rare that we were seeing cases of measles and whooping coughs and mumps and chickenpox. We don't hardly see those diseases anymore. But if you go to other countries, so for example, you go to Africa and places like that, where they don't have effective programs where they vaccinate people for polio and all of those diseases, you see the people in the street with the signs of the diseases that they had when they were children. You find them paralyzed and unable to walk. You find people down on the ground on little scooters scooting along because they've been paralyzed by poliomyelitis. You know, you see people with disfigurements and things like that from measles and mumps and other diseases that they have had.
Actually, you're saying that vaccinations are important.
They're very important. And they're so important that we need to continue to do the vaccination so we prevent having these outbreaks in the future. And what we have to do is we have to make sure that everybody is vaccinated. That way there is no reservoir or no pool for these diseases to spread. If we can get the majority of the people vaccinated, we would be done with these diseases.
You feel that way?
That's true.
Well, from the doctor's mouth. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Hello. Glad you're here. You're going to find out about something I never knew about, something that you should know about. It's called the Eye Care Academy. And the first thing I want to ask my two guests, Nathaniel and Brandon, what's the difference between an academy, a charter school, and the public school?
Ah, wow, that's a brilliant question.
Brilliant.
Yes,
it's
brilliant
just a
question.
dumb one because I didn't know.
No, it's quite all right, actually. So the difference between an academy, a charter school, and a public school is actually what houses it and then what parameters they're given. So, for instance, in a charter school, they may have liberties that a public school may not, which is a reason for their success or failure. And then vice versa, your public schools have access to things that the charter schools also can get access to, which causes a push and pull because they care about the students but may not acquire the same resources to do so. An academy, especially with us being a 501c3, we're actually able to maneuver in and out of these parameters that typically would be set in stone for those kind of infrastructures. For instance, if we would like to engage a student's family, in addition to that student, well, we don't have to really worry about it. It was already agreed to when we gave the application, and the parents are aware that we believe that not only is the student important, but so is the environment that they're spending the majority of their time.
And of course, you being president,
yes,
you can maneuver.
Oh, I can maneuver very well. And that's the one thing. So I was asked earlier, what is it that I do? I really enjoy creating economic opportunities. So I believe that everyone is fearfully and wonderfully made, and that life is really built upon you each day discovering how great you are and knowing that that has a value. With that being the case, for instance, the shirt that I'm wearing.
Oh, that's what it was all about.
Yeah, so that's an example of one of our students, Emeka Orja, at the time was 19, and he's a great young man, but in light of him having a talent, a gift, and ability, which was being an illustrator, who sought to create a lifestyle apparel brand, he was selling these clothes and was making a great amount of money per week. And I'm like, you're a young man in high school who's a junior, but you're telling me that your school never told you about copyright. You're telling me that your school never told you about trademark. And you're telling me that your school never told you about how to own your ideas. So he was 19, selling clothes and building a brand. And I was like, how did you do this? We have a computer? Well, this guy starts laughing at me. He's like, I don't have a computer, Mr. Nate. You're crazy. I said, I'm crazy. I said, well, how do you do this? He said, well, man, I get paper, I draw it out, and then I have my iPhone 6. I take a picture of it, and then I put that into this application, and I do this and a little bit of that, and then I get the shirts. And I was like, that's ingenious. So because I like making a point, I told him, I said, well, look, you should give me all of your designs. He was like, yeah, Mr. Nate, you're cool. I said, this is awesome, because then I'm going to sell them all, because this is just amazing. He was like, what? I said, that's what happens. In business, people can steal your ideas, and because you didn't know how to prove your ownership, you can't do anything when they profit off of what you do.
So you teach them?
Yes, I teach them that the number one commodity in this entire world is this, because in the entertainment industry, people create vast legacies off of what's known as intellectual property. So Eye Care Academy teaches people that their thoughts transition into money when you know how to prove your ownership and then apply that method to the madness that allows you to make money from it.
So what are you doing there, Brandon? What are you learning there?
I'm going to say, don't be shy too, because this is Mr. Quiet.
I learned a lot of things working with the academy. Like I learned things such as paperwork, like I know how to make one-pagers, a lot of marketing and promotions, social media, and was hard copy, for lack of a better word. Right now we've been doing a lot of media production, so doing things with cameras and film.
In other words, I should be on your seat. that what you told me?
Yeah, we've been the media thing we've been working on heavily for the past year and a half, teaching the students how to work the cameras and the audio and whatnot.
Really?
So learning.
So you have the equipment?
We have some equipment. A lot of the things that we get are loaned to us, but just from whoever can donate certain things that depending on what projects we're working on and what events that we're at. Yeah, that's really the main thing that we're doing right now. I've loved it actually because it's been guiding me to want to be more in directorial work.
And your own boss.
Yeah.
That's so important in this country to now bring all that talent together and direct it in where you own it.
Yes.
And where you control it.
Yes.
Because things have been stolen from us for many years.
Yes.
You know, what we wear, what we say, how we dance, what music we produce.
Yes.
We get to own those things.
Yes.
And that's what you keep saying yes. Am I on the right track?
I think it's definitely on the right track because that was the catalyst for eye care. We saw that a lot of people, you know, had a goal to become known and cause some sort of change in their community, especially due to the plight that they dealt with from day to day. A lot of these youth are from urban environments, which on, you know, an educational level are deemed, you know, disenfranchised and things like that. So with that being the case, there's a lot of resources they don't get exposed to and therefore don't get access to. So like you said, things get stolen from them because what is this saying? You don't know what you didn't know, right? So they keep doing what they see as being the way, and meanwhile people are taking things from them unbeknownst to them, right? And then all the while they're like, oh my goodness.
It's education, isn't it?
What?
It's knowing how.
Yes, I think it always has been, and I think that was one of the things that's been hidden from us, you know?
Yes.
The fact that our legacy was that of...
We're servants.
Well, so that may be a piece of our legacy, but let's say in the midst of us knowing that we're servants, a concept called Black Wall Street, which wasn't just in one area of the country, but actually was spread across the country, happened during times of segregation, but still was so fruitful that it caused a jealous eye to be cast over it, which actually thwarted it, which is why I say it was hidden and then also could be a part of what was stolen, because we were circulating $1 more than 100 times in our community.
How would people get in touch with you?
eyecareacademy.org, or you can Google Nathaniel Pyfrom and they'll pop right up.
But you're not at a specific location, so can they catch up with you where you're going to be?
Yes, because so quarterly we have a series of events that we deemed being the best representation of our ideals. Because eye care stands for Internet, Culture, Arts, Recreation, and Edutainment, because we engage education through the entertainment lens. We have functions, say, where we know we're going to be at Penn's Landing in June around this time because we're running the stage. So we know that that's a function where people can come to, and then we're always going to have a production schedule. So the production schedule incorporates these training sessions that Brandon was talking about, where we're teaching people, okay, this is how you use this lens, this is how we use the camera. You're going to be ahead of interviewing. This is how you give an interview. What is your 30-second pitch about what's going on with the academy and what you're here for? And the students, as you saw in the Boys' Day, primarily are running the entire production, which is beautiful because how often do you see something like that?
Yeah, and hands-on.
Right, and then it's almost perpetuating this like false truth that, even though he's brilliant, he's not capable of leadership. And it's like, meanwhile, somewhere we're supposed to see the transition of him going from a student to being able to lead.
How long have you been president?
I've been president for about 5 years now.
Okay.
Yes.
You're in good hands, Brandon. I want to thank both of you. This won't be the end of it. We'll talk again. Yes. Keep us informed of what you're doing and where it's going to be, that people can come and meet you in person and learn about the academy. Yes.
The next place that will be more solid ground will be Overbrook High School. We're actually doing some work with them to galvanize their production suite that they have in there. They have about 2.5 million production suite. It's public information, and it was a very communal effort that went in from politicians to the actual community to make sure that kind of Catalyst was there because they're
How
trying
much
to,
does it cost to come to the school initially?
so that all differs depending on what the school actually needs from us. A big thing we believe in at the academy is not having somebody feel like they have to do something new, because you already are you and you've been doing a lot already. So the best thing is to
I
maximize.
want to be a star.
Yeah, look, exactly, right? So, and as a star, you have an itinerary and a planner and somebody who keeps you, in line with what you said or your
Oh
top
yeah, they
priorities.
do. They keep me in line.
So that stuff is like, your majority of your time. So if there was a way that you wanted to make an impact, from our perspective, it's like, okay, we have to find the most conducive way for you to feel like you just came in, was being yourself, and then you left with a smile. And then that's what we actually desire for everybody that interacts with us.
So anyone can apply.
Yes, we believe in anybody from 5 past 45. Yes.
Okay. Congratulations. Good luck. And
Thank you
keep
very
doing
much.
a good job.
I appreciate you. Thank you for blessing
Okay.
us with the opportunity to come on.
Thank you for being here. Did you ever have the feeling that you see someone a lot and you just didn't know who they were? That's the way I felt about you, Sandra Wilkes. I have seen you around Philadelphia for years, and I always wondered, who is that woman? Who are you?
Well, who am I? I am Sandra Wilkes, marketing and promotion, and what I do is love people and love helping people find information and resources. So I talk to everybody that I meet, and I give them information and resources, and I help them with their business and whatever they're doing. If I can't, I find somebody that can.
Come on, tell me some of the things that you had to do for people.
Well, when people see me, they want to give me a stack of flyers or business cards or brochures and ask me to give them out for them because they know the job is going to get done. They know people don't throw away things that I put in their hand. So my business has been distributing literature to people. There was a directory that I worked with, which was a Tri-State Minority Yellow Pages, with Miss Bess Ball, retired now. So I did that, and of course I love the library. So I'm a friend of a library, which I can help to encourage children to read, and people that are children or any age, because we need to read to find information and resources.
Now, you can find Miss Wilkes. If you don't know her, we're going to give a number out. But the way you dress, you always have a hat on.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes,
Or
I
something,
do.
the ties
I
of your
wear a
hair.
hat. I wear a hat all the time. For some reason, I love hats.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an article written about me in a newspaper, and they called me a hat trick. I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, because they put that trick on the end, and I said, okay, so I'm a hat trick, they said. And so I wear them all the time, and I have gone to a meeting before, and someone thought I wasn't there because they saw a person without a hat, but it was I. And I was there. So my signature is a hat, and now I have added a flower, which I believe in give them flowers now.
Well, congratulations. What would you have been or done other than this?
Okay. I think I'm the unpaid social worker. So I think I'm the help person. And I think my name means actually helper of mankind. So I think that's what I would do, is do something. I love business. I love helping people. And mainly that's what I think it is.
Well, if you call and use that number, you be sure to tell her that she was on the Trudy Haynes show, and that's where you found out about Sandra Wilkes. It's a nice way to live. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you, because you didn't know that you have been a mentor of mine many years.
Since
And I
Dolores
believe-
Tucker days.
And yes,
I
yes.
think that's where I first saw you.
Yes. And I don't want to ever forget you ladies that paved the way for us now, that we are where we are today. So you're at the top of the list, of my list, not because I'm just sitting here, because it's true. And Dr. C. Dolores Tucker, Vera Gunn, and all these ladies that I had known
A long
They're so
time.
a long time ago, and we don't ever need to forget them, especially, well, this month is Women's History Month, and I do have a Women's History Month event that I've been having every year for this is my 16th year, and I have it at the Yaden Public Library.
Okay.
So I find women.
When? All through the month?
Yes, it's going to be my next program will be Tuesday, March the 26th.
So that's in
Of
March. but that's
2019.
passed. You
And
have
we-
something coming up?
It's coming up Tuesday, March the 26th.
No, but I mean, you have something after March because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're just starting to know you.
Oh, well, guess what? They just need to call me and I tell them what they need to know.
Okay.
And that's the way I always handle it. I love people and they love talking to me. So they call me for information and resources all the time.
Well, I'm just finding out about Alice Wilkes. I've been seeing her for years, walking around, being in places. Now we know who she is. Take advantage of having a friend. I'm in a marvelous studio in Wyncote, and I didn't even know about it. I'm so glad I'm here and to meet a wonderful new artist. By the way, this is called From the Past Facing Forward, and the artist is this beautiful young lady, Lori Cooper, and I want to welcome you to our show, the Trudy Haynes Show.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're a very striking person. So when did all this start for you?
Oh boy, when I was a little girl, 7 or 8, my mom used to paint. She did watercolors, and me and my sisters, we just followed after her.
Now you have an exhibit going on here, and this is called the Arts Portal, or the Portal of Art?
The Arts Portal,
Okay,
the Arts
here
Portal
in Wyncote.
in Winco, yes.
And you have at least 20 some odd paintings here.
Yes, I do.
Are these paintings, let's get that first, because I'm a little confused when you say I'm an artist. You're a painter.
I'm a painter, but I'm a pastel painter. I consider it painting, but it's really a dry form of painting. It's a pigment that, a pigment binder and preservative to make a chalk, but it's really raw pigment that I work with, and it's a dry form of painting. So it is painting. I consider it painting.
They're beautiful. What inspired this theme?
I think it's that I love the African subject. I love painted faces. I love to show our heritage and our beauty and our strength, and I love to play with color too, against dark skin, and just to make my own kind of like story or whatever. I'm inspired by African painting, face painting. But I'm also, I want to put my own spin to it. So I like to do that.
Your spin is quite evident here. Is this your first showing?
In a long time, yes. Yeah, very, very long time. I've been, on my own. This is the first major show that I've had in years.
Now, when you're an artist and you do things in depth, as it appears here in your paintings, what are your thoughts for the next thing that you're going to do? Or do you have them, or are you inspired by anything in particular?
Sometimes I am. I'll think about like a theme, like I wanted to do a theme of emotional work that's more geared towards like black people as they relate to each other, as opposed to like looking outside of other outside forces. But then again, I don't like to like really say that that's what I'm doing, because I'm an artist, so it could be whatever. However, like when I wake up, I may be into like doing the face painting or mask or something like that, or mother and child theme. So like I hate to say that, because then it seems like I'm like, it's like you don't know what you're talking about. But I really don't, because the art takes its own course, and I have to go with whatever kind of way that I'm feeling at the time, and that's where I go. So, and I was in the mood for this.
Lori, I'm very proud to let the people know that you've included me in your portfolio. How did that come about?
I met a gentleman, his name is Steve Sattel, and he commissioned me to do your portrait. He gave me a list of people that I could paint for his organization, and I chose you because you're such an icon, and I've always it's just be such a thrill to just do your portrait. It's like that's what I want. I want to do Trudy.
And that was presented to me at his event for legends, so to speak. Well, I want to thank you for that. I've never received anything quite as personal as that. So really, that's how we kind of got together, and I said, I must talk to the artist. In fact, it's the nicest portrait that I've ever had. But how did you do that? You took something from my past,
Yes,
we're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes, I took a portrait, a photograph of you from a black and white photograph of you, and then a present-day photograph portrait of you, and I combined the two, and I put the piece, the black and white. That's the earlier view of you, and I put it in a frame, and I made that a part of the piece to make it past and future. So that's the idea behind that. But I really enjoyed doing that piece.
Well, I enjoyed seeing it, and I'll get my hands on it as soon as I can. But he has some very good ideas about where it's going to go, and I'm just as proud of that too. But that was so unusual and so appreciative, and I'm very happy that both of you got together and you were able to do that. And no surprise to either of us, Steve is here with that portrait. And it is just gorgeous, and I'm so proud of you and Steve for putting this together, because I have never had anything so gracious. Thank you so much.